So if you're just starting out with Amazon or plan on working with them soon, and you want to see what happens when a load goes completely sideways and how to combat that, this video is for you. So on average, about once a month, I get what I call a stupid load. I try to keep this channel clean. I've got a lot more expletives to say with it, but because I try to keep this channel clean, I'm just gonna say it's a stupid load. This is one, I'm gonna have to look down at my phone a little bit. I just got done with this. It's 12:24, just got to a spot where I could park and tell you all about it. Basically, they had this XSD2 going to SAN 5. Now, the irony there is, one thing you got to know about Amazon, SAN 5 is like the main acronym, but then sometimes these facilities are called something totally different. So, you know, it'll be like SAN 5 is also SDM4. It's also XSD2. So when I see a little XSD2 to SAN 5, it's like, are they calling me down to do a hostler move? Is this movie? Because I mean, literally it's taking a trailer from a facility and dropping it off at that same facility. So that kind of had me curious, I'd say. I just wanted to see what it was. Curiosity killed the cat tonight, man. So I mean, XSD2 is 7144 Otay Mesa Road. SAN 5 is 7144 Otay Mesa Road. So my part in this, I was due down there at 10 o'clock. I got my geofence arrival successfully detected at 9:12. Totally doing my part. I should have known right there was a long line of trucks, Their system was down. I wouldn't know that until I got up to the gate, but you figure I was close enough to that geofence at 9:12 to where I got that arrival successfully detected. I did not get my actual Y check-in until 9:54. So you figure it's what, 43 minutes of just sitting in line waiting to get up there to the front. Now, of course, now you might wonder, like, you know, I talk about screenshots, I talk about pictures, protecting your grade. Of course, I have a picture of the long line of trucks. Once I started realizing that, like, this is going to take a minute, it's like, you know, let's get that picture of the trucks. I also got a picture of the, you know, when I finally made it to the gate. On my watch, it was 9:53. Got a picture of that too. I mean, this is just kind of the breadth and depth of evidence gathering I go when I start to sense a load going sideways. Grabbed that, got into the gate, and the person checking me in, because the systems were down, the screen wasn't on. And the person, I was actually talking to a person I know, you know, great relationship with this person. Nothing bad about them, absolutely not. But the, you know, they're like, oh, this is a stupid load. This starts here and ends here. They're gonna cancel it. They instructed me to go to tractor parking and request a callback, and I can't do that until my departure time, which is at 11. 11 o'clock rolls around. I request that callback. I hear back from ROC. They gave me a call at 11:05. So 23:05, they're calling me back, and the ROC agent tells me, oh, no, you're supposed to take a trailer, sends me the GPS coordinates, and also sends me the trailer ID. Now, from the GPS coordinates, I know SAN 5. I'm there all the time. I can tell looking at it on a map. It's over in the 600s somewhere. I go over there. I find it. I'm like, okay, great. Now, here's the problem. And this is, I want to point out the thing. This load was supposed to drop off at SAN 5 at 11 o'clock. Problem is ROC calls me at 11:05. I find the trailer. I'm getting it all hooked up. I'm not exiting SAN 5 or XSD2. I'm not leaving there till like 11:16. So I'm already 16 minutes late on the drop off. And you know, if you know anything about Amazon, they weight your time on time to arrival less than your on time to destination. So this is like the worst kind of late you can get. It's like I'm showing up now late, and it's like none of this is my fault. I showed up to there, what was it? I got that arrival successfully detected at 9:12. I've done my part. I've been sitting in a parking lot as instructed. You know, everything that's led to this has now led me to be late. Now, because their system's down, I go to check out, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't check you out. And it's like, okay, well, I'm dropping this trailer off here. I come around the other side. They end up getting me out of there. They're unable to check me out. But now in the check-in process, because that trailer was there physically, but not there virtually. And what that means is that somebody throughout the day, not their fault, but somebody throughout the day was able to drop off that trailer without it being properly checked in. That's probably why they ordered the move. Again, I showed up 48 minutes early to do this move. Now, you know, as far as, you know, where's my responsibility? You know, what's my grade on the line for? I more than showed up to do my part. All of this other stuff that I'm mentioning is stuff that's completely out of my control, out of my hands completely. But now I sit here making this video for you at 12:28. Turn the screen record on here. I finally, you know, they sent me over to parking slip 801, problem solve. I get it dropped off at 801. I go to check out, and because the system was down and everything like that, you figure I wasn't able to be checked out properly on the way out. Checking back in, I wasn't able to be checked out properly. And so it kind of looks like it's still active. Now, the trip cleared from my work queue on the app. If we go to my work queue on the app here, you can see no future loads assigned, no pending loads being done. So that's good. But where the trouble is, got Lou snoring over here. Where the trouble is when I go in here to my trips, keep in mind the load is done. I still have one active trip, and if you notice here, it's got a red clock, meaning that it's done. And you know, I've put in a ton, or I've put in one, but everybody I talk to, I'm like, hey, can you put in a load note for me? And we got 3 of them in there. We've got the first one, the callback from ROC saying, you know, driver stated no empties, advised that trailer is there. That's when he sent me the trailer number and the GPS. The next one in there was, a friend of mine was working at the exit gate. I said, you know, is there any way you can put a load note in there for me? That's a crucial thing to ask for. If you're in this position, you start to see a load go sideways, if you can get an Amazon employee to put a load note that's beneficial for you, highly recommend that. Because you know, where I see this going is, I'll get to that in a minute, where I see this going to. But you know, they put in here, you know, driver, they put my Y check in. They said I arrived at 2154, which is undisputable. You know, and then they mentioned the whole thing about instructed to take that trailer, virtually checked into our yard. That load note is actually like gold for me, should this go to a performance dispute. And then there's my own load note in there that I just say in here, completed all steps. It's basically the story I'm telling you, I'm trying to condense down into a short version that, you know, that if it is a person reading it, hopefully they take the time to read it. If it's AI, hopefully AI gets it right. But here's my fear in this. So I have a red clock now on this, which is obviously going to affect my on-time performance. If you come over here to my scorecard, which, you know, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know I say grade is everything. When I go in here to my last active 6 weeks, or I'm sorry, my last 7 days, weekly, they call it now. Weekly, on time is still at 100, acceptance 100, app usage 100, disruption free 100, but I think that hasn't updated yet, because the trip, if we come over here to my trips, the trip still shows active in my queue. When that in-transit trip transfers over to the history trip, I think they're going to hit me with that red clock, and I think they're going to lower my on time. Now, hopefully I've collected enough evidence to, if I need to do a performance dispute, I can. But I share stuff like this to you, or with you, because it's inevitable. Lou is really snoring. It's inevitable. You're going to do your part. You're going to show up on time. You're going to do everything right, and you're going to be sitting there like with what I'm feeling right now of like, what did I get myself into tonight? I mean, how did me, the owner of Stat Trucking, do anything wrong to be in any sort of bad regards with Amazon right now? They have no right to like lower my grade. Now that's my opinion. Whether or not this goes to a performance, you know, if they, like right now, what would be ideal is they just move this load from in transit to history and be like, okay, he did his part. Where I suspect it's going to go is I think they're going to move it to history and say, oh, and you were late. And when they do that, I'm going to have to do a performance dispute. I'm for sure going to follow up on this video. This video is not going to end here. I may look different because I may be dressed different. I'm kind of curious to see, you know, if they don't update this till tomorrow, I'll follow up then. But I'll let you know how this thing goes. But my goal here is just to prepare you for these stupid loads that are inevitable and that I average getting about once a month. Saturday afternoon, 3:27. Wanted to check back in with you. I just woke up after a successful night of trucking, getting ready to head over to my folks' house, watch Alabama LSU, but woke up to unfortunately find this trip so still in transit in my trips queue. If you swipe down on this, still shows I have one in transit, and it is the one from last night, that XSD2 going to SAN 5. I like showing stuff like this because this if you're going to do Amazon, unfortunately stuff like this is inevitable. I did want to show you as far as like, you know, the load notes on here. I just want to show you like what's been written. So you got like at the bottom there, the bottom one's ROC. That middle one was actually an Amazon employee at the checkout gate. I'll touch on that in a minute. And then that top one, that's what I wrote. So the reason I wanted to bring up the load notes is this is the way I see these load notes is it's like laying the groundwork in anticipation of having to do that performance dispute. That middle one, the one done by the Amazon employee, I kind of wanted to explain it a little bit better because I don't want you to leave here with like an unrealistic expectation of like Amazon employees. Your average Amazon employee at your average Amazon location, if you say, hey, can you throw a load note in there for me, is going to be like, you need to call ROC. And I don't want to, I don't want to reveal this person because they are a friend. I don't want to overstep any boundaries. They became a friend out of me doing the hostler gig down there a bunch. I just got to know them and stuff. And, they were able to see me go through this firsthand. And when I was leaving, I said, is there any way that you could add a load note? Just stick to the facts. There's no, I can't check out all the, all the stuff. And you can see what they wrote. I don't need to rehash what they did, but I don't want you to, if you're sitting there and you're in this situation and you're like, well, Todd got them to write a load note for them, I'm gonna go ask them to do a load note for me, and they refuse, and they tell you to just call ROC. I'll be honest, if this happened to me at any other facility, they probably would have told me to call ROC, and they wouldn't have written a load note for me. But I'm grateful that they were able to do that. This person's a solid individual. I mean, I'm grateful for their friendship and the fact that they were willing to do this for me. But I don't want you to leave here with an unrealistic expectation that, like, I can demand an Amazon employee to write a load note for me and they're going to do it. They probably won't. And unfortunately, Amazon being, what's up, Blue? Amazon being as compartmentalized as they are, I think they set that up that way by design. So these are the load notes I'm going into it. Here's how I see this having like 4 possible outcomes. I did open a case to have this load closed, so there's a case going as well too. Is like, hey, look, I've done my part. Can you close the case? The 4 possible outcomes. I have no doubt that they will close this case and they will pay me for it. The problem is when they look at it, they're gonna, when they close it, they could say, well, you were late to destination, which I was. I was sitting there in that yard waiting until 11, which was my arrival for the destination, waiting for 11. To call ROC. So obviously I didn't get this trailer until after 11, so they could hit me with on time. Second outcome is they could say, well, you didn't get a Y checkout, you weren't using the app. That's outcome number 2. Outcome number 3 is they're going to hit me with both on time and not using the app. And then outcome number 4, which is the one I'm hoping for, is they just get it right. That's all I'm asking for, is that they just get it right. So there's 75% chance this doesn't go my way, 25% chance it does go my way. Assuming it doesn't and I have to do a performance dispute, I'll check in on that next. But, you might be thinking like, well, why does this matter so much? Why does this matter? I do pride myself. I mean, if we go to my scorecard here and we look at my last active, on here there's a filter for trailing 1 year. For 1 year, on time 100, acceptance 100, app usage 100, disruption free 100. So it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. There's never been a time, despite like app outages, traffic, everything, where I've done anything less than perfection for them for the last year. So the fact that this is now happening kind of on their, this is an Amazon problem. This isn't a stat trucking problem. The fact that this is now has a potential of lowering that grade, it's one of those things that drives me nuts. But I've been in this situation so many times before where it's just kind of like, all right, well, let's see how it goes. And if we have to do the performance dispute, we'll do it. And I'll check in with you there. But no matter what, I'll let you know the outcome of this. Man, so it's Wednesday, almost 2 o'clock. Haven't checked in with you guys in a couple of days. Thought I'd check in and let you know. 5 days have passed since I finished that load. It is still in my active trips queue. Out here having the time of my life at Disneyland with the family. Just wanted to check in with you and let you know it's been 5 days and that load still shows as in transit. Friday, November 15th. Out here doing some birthday shopping. As of tomorrow, I'm gonna have a 16-year-old. So I'm out here doing some birthday shopping with my wife, getting stuff for my daughter. Best possible outcome. Woke up this morning to a little message from Amazon saying VRID has been completed, payment will be processed, blah blah blah. Immediately went over to my performance wasn't affected. One step in this process I forgot to mention, they do have a you can open a case for something called a trip completion status dispute. Now I opened that on November 9th. I think that was because I finished this load close to midnight it was before midnight on Friday, but because I finished it, I think that November 9th was Saturday. And you can see, I'm not going to read through all this stuff, but you can see I messaged them on Saturday. Later that day on Saturday, I sent them the load notes in case they didn't have access to it. Heard nothing. November 12th, sent them, when can I expect resolution on this case? November 14th, it's kind of like, this is me pleading, like, hey, when are you going to move this? I fear that you're going to hang on to this so long that you're going to release it at like day 10 or day 14, and you're going to say, yes, it's complete, but you were late. And because you were late, you were going to mark down your performance, and now you're time barred from doing a performance dispute. So best possible outcome here. I was ready to tackle the, if they said I was late, I had my arrival successfully detected and my Y check-in, so I had that. If they said there was if they said, oh, well, you weren't using the app, that note I got from the Amazon employee when I was leaving San 5 stating that their system was down, that's what I was going to use for that. Fortunately, it didn't come to that, but a week later to have this finally resolved, to have my earning potential up in the air over something that I didn't do, and to have this be like an Amazon created problem, I'm not gonna lie, it does create stress for me. It does create like resentment inside of me. Now, fortunately, I kind of let this is the bad of Amazon, but the good, these nights going out, staying local, making $1,200, $1,500, $1,700 a night, that's the good. That to me outweighs the bad, but I like showing processes like this because unfortunately loads like this are inevitable. I'm not unique. I average one of these a month, and knowing what to do with them, knowing what steps to do, what words to say, that type of stuff like that is key in keeping that grade up there. So as always, so glad we got resolution on this. I woke up this morning and saw it in there, saw it was done, and it was just like, oh, okay, thank God. Okay, we can keep moving forward now. I know what to do next. But as always, hope this video serves you well. Appreciate you for watching. Take care. Can't you reach any further, you stumbling bilge rat?